Hello everyone, welcome back to the tutorials. So today we are going to see about the soil mechanics subject. So just I have opened the syllabus to make you understand how much we have covered yet, how much we have covered till today and how much we are going to cover in further lectures. Okay, so you can see definition of soil engineering, application areas, three-phase system, soil moisture and soil minerals and soil structure we have covered till today in first unit. So Terzagh is effective stress concept and effective and neutral stresses I am going to cover in fourth unit because it is most related to unit number 4. That's why I am going to cover this in unit number 4. Further you can see in module number 2 we have covered about different unit weights of the soil, their determination. So unit weight of the soil and their determination based on three-phase system we have studied. Unit weights of soil mass, method for determination of field density we are about to study. So till here we have completed in second unit also. So almost we have completed 1.25 units. So 1.25 unit. Further you can see method of determination of field density via sand replacement and core cutter method we are going to study in the laboratory. Anyway, I am going to brief it here, but same experiments we are going to study in the laboratory. So I guess no need to go in depth over here. So in today's session I am going to solve one example from competitive exams regarding this unit weight uh, relations and basic index property relations, and we are going to study about specific gravity determination methods we are going to study in today's session. So after that you can see we have completed this also, wide ratio, porosity, degree of saturation, interrelation between weight, volume, states, density indices we have not completed. So this point also we are completed. So today I am going to cover this particular point so that we can finish up to here. After that we are going to move to the density indices, Atterberg's limits and their significance. So today I am going to cover this point as well as specific gravity determination. This point I am going to cover. Okay, I hope uh, now you are a little bit familiar with the syllabus. So anyway, we will move to the actual content, actual today's content. So you can see over here I have identified a problem which was from a competitive exam, which was asked in GATE also and which was asked in many of the competitive exams. Similar type of problems, not same problem. So you can see how many meter cube of soil can be formed with wide ratio of 0.5 from 100 meter cube of soil having wide ratio 0.7. So we'll understand it first. So let us understand the problem first. What they are asking is, initially the wide ratio was 0.7. At that time the total volume of soil was 100 meter cube. So after that the wide ratio was changed to 0.5. From 0.7 it has changed to 0.5. So at that time what is the volume of soil which we are going to get? They are asking what is the volume of soil which we are going to get. So what is how many meter cube means what is the volume of soil which we are going to get when the wide ratio changes, they are asking. So you can see over here in first case I am going to consider the first case wide ratio as E1 and volume in first case I am going to consider as V1. So what I have to find? V2 I have to find when E is equal to 0.2. So remember when E is equal to 0.2. You can observe one thing here, rather than E and V they have not given any data. So there is a trick to solve this type of problems. You can see I know that E is equal to volume of voids divided by volume of soil solids. Here they have neither given volume of voids nor given volume of soil solids. So what I am going to do, I will try to establish the relation between VV and VS. So if I put it is a first case when the wide ratio is 0.7. So if I put E is equal to 0.7, VV will be equal to 0.7 times VS. So this is the relation which I am going to use. So now total volume they have given. So total volume is equal to VS plus VV. So 100 is a total volume. VS I am going to keep as it is. This VV I am going to keep in terms of VS. So that is going to give me 100 is equal to 1.7 Vs. So finally Vs I am going to get as 58.82 meter cube. Now volume of soil solids in any case will not change. Remember, if I consider a small amount of soil and if I increase the void ratio, if I decrease the void ratio, volume of solid will not change, volume of void will change. So this is the concept which we are going to use. Volume of soil solids is equal to 58.82 will remain same for both the cases. So now you can see E is equal to 0.5 I am going to consider, and I am going to find out total volume. So E is equal to 0.5 volume of voids divided by volume of soil solids. So if I consider this relation, VV is equal to 0.5 Vs I am going to get. So total V is equal to Vs plus VV. So Vs is equal to 58.82 plus VV is equal to 0.5 into 58.82. So this relation I have considered. So total volume I am going to get as 88.23 meter cube. So you can see, as void ratio decreases, volume also decreases. So this was the question which was asked in one of the competitive exam. So you can just go through this question. I will leave this for just 30 seconds. So you can go through this. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, you can raise the questions. I hope you have gone through this. So further we are going to move to another problem. So this problem I have solved in previous session. So in notes many of the problems I have solved, but most difficult problems I have discussed till here. So you can go through these problems. So even I have mentioned wherever important points are there, I have mentioned those as important. So I am going to circulate these notes in a Google Classroom. So in this notes, the previous year problems are also covered, as well as I have covered the problems from competitive exams also. Okay, now I will move to further syllabus. So you can see, rather than basic properties, there are few index properties of the soil are also there. So how to determine those index properties? What are those index properties? What are the different methods to determine those index properties we are going to study today. So first and foremost index property, important index property is specific gravity of soil particles, that is G. Second one is water content, third one is particle size distribution, fourth one is consistency limits and indices. Density of soil is a fifth one, and relative density is a sixth one. So today we are going to study about specific gravity of soil. That's what I have discussed in the syllabus. So you can see specific gravity of soil and determination methods we are going to study. Okay, so you can see over here specific gravity of a soil. What is specific gravity? You have already studied while studying the basic properties. So specific gravity of soil solids is useful in several computations. So the specific gravity of soil is very much useful in many of the computations. Okay, so specific gravity is denoted by capital G. So specific gravity is nothing but ratio of unit weight of soil solids to the equal volume of unit weight of water. G is equal to it is a ratio of unit weight of soil solids to the equal volume of unit weight of water. So mu S divided by mu W. G is equal to mu S divided by mu W. So remember, this G is useful in many computations. You can take the examples which we have solved in previous sessions. You can observe that where G plays very important role. Wherever there is a interrelation between basic properties, there is a relation of G. So G connects every basic properties. Okay, so to determine the specific gravity, mainly there are two methods, that is pycnometer method and another one is density bottle method. So while among both, the density bottle method is more accurate and suitable for all the types of soil, pycnometer method is suitable and used for coarse grained soil only. So remember this. Many of the times in multiple choice questions they have asked this. Pycnometer method is suitable for coarse grained soil. Okay, so we'll move further. So procedure to find out water content by pycnometer method. So pycnometer is a small glass bottle type of a structure. So it is a small glass type one. So we are going to take the empty dry weight of that pycnometer. I will show the image of pycnometer in the next session. So we are going to consider the empty weight as a W1. We are going to take about 200 to 400 grams of O1 dried soil. Remember, O1 dried soil we have to consider passing through the sieve of 4.75 mm, means fine grained soil. So we are going to discuss about fine and coarse grained later. So sieve in pycnometer passing through 4.75 mm sieve in pycnometer and weigh it again as a W2. So initially we are going to take empty weight of a pycnometer as W1. So don't just think that pycnometer means it is some electronic device or something like that. It is a glass bottle, just glass bottle type of equipment. So I will show you with the parts. Even in your syllabus, laboratory syllabus, first practical is to determine the uh, specific gravity by pycnometer only. So it is there. So there also you are going to see it. So empty weight we are going to consider as a W1. 200 to 400 grams of O1 dried soil we are going to fill, and we are going to weigh the pycnometer and we are going to consider it as a W2. Remember, attach the brass cap as well as the uh, all the accessories thoroughly while weighing the um, pycnometer. So empty weight is W1, with soil is W2. Add half of the water to pycnometer, cover with the cap and shake it well to remove the air voids. So uh, I'm going to fill half of the water in the pycnometer and I am going to shake it thoroughly so that air voids can be removed. After removal of air voids, fill the pycnometer completely. So you can see now empty pycnometer I have weighed, 200 to 400 grams of soil I have filled. In that only I am filling the water, and I am filling it up to the top, means completely fully I am filling it, and then I am going to weigh it and it is going to be W3. Similarly, remove everything means I am going to clean the soil and then I am going to fill entire pycnometer with only water, full pycnometer with only water, and then I am going to attach the cap and I am going to weigh it, and that is nothing but W4. So this is the relation which is going to give us the specific gravity. So this is determination of specific gravity by using the pycnometer method. It is very simple method. So it is a first experiment in your syllabus, so you can go through it later also. So anyway, I am going to show you the images of pycnometer in next session. Okay. Anyway, you can see here. Further, I am going to move to the next index property, that is water content determination. So water content determination is very simple one. So I am going to weigh the empty container. I am going to fill up that I am going to consider as W1. Then I am going to fill up the empty container with moist soil, and I am going to weigh it and I am going to consider it as a W2. And I am going to keep that container in the oven by maintaining for 24 hours by maintaining oven temperature between 105 degrees Celsius plus or minus 5 for 24 hours. After that, again I am going to remove it and weigh it. So what is the change in this case is, after keeping it in a oven, the entire moisture content will escape. Okay, so then that wet soil will become dry. So in this case I am going to weigh it and I am going to consider it as a W3. So W2 minus W1 is going to give us the weight of wet soil, divided by W3 minus W1 is going to give us weight of dry soil. So like that I am going to find out water content. So it is also given in lab manual and simple procedure. you can go through it later. Okay, anyway, you can see over here specific gravity and its determination we have covered. Next, I am going to discuss about the uh, index density indices and Atterberg's limits and their significance, soil classification based on particle size and consistency. I am going to study further. So you can see our main aim is to study the soil classification. But to support this soil classification, means while classifying the soil, we need particle size distribution also, and we need consistency of soil also. So consistency of soil is nothing but density indices and Atterberg's limits. Consistency of soil covers density indices and Atterberg's limits. So if we study consistency of soil, we will be able to cover this particular point. So I am going to move from here, particle size distribution and consistency of soil we are going to study. So first I am going to cover with particle size distribution. So particle size distribution can be done by carrying mechanical analysis, and mechanical analysis is also known as particle size analysis. Actually, what is this particle size distribution? So I will tell you. Particle size distribution is nothing but particle size distribution is nothing but if I take a small amount of soil, it contains different sizes of particles. Am I right? So it contains different sizes of particles. For example, I will give you example of coarse grained and fine grained soil. So if I take fine grained soil, what is fine grained soil? Fine grained soil is nothing but a soil whose particle sizes are less than 4.75 mm. So what is coarse grained soil? Coarse grained soil is the soil whose particle sizes are more than 4.75 mm size. So you can see if I take fine grained soil, it contains all the particles which are whose sizes are less than 4.75 mm and less than 4.75 mm. So, and you can see in that particular soil, some of the soil particles are having size of exactly 4.75 mm, and below that some of the particles are having size 1 mm, 2 mm, 3 mm. So what is the percentage of soil which is having the size of a particular size, means particular size if I consider as a 1 mm. So if I take some amount of soil, and in that what is the percentage of soil which is having particular size of 1 mm, we are going to find out in a particle size distribution. So it is very simple. It is nothing but finding the percentage of soil which is having different sizes. So understand it in this way, it will be much better for you. So in that we can carry out this particular particle size distribution in two steps. That is, one is sieve analysis, another one is sedimentation analysis. So sieve analysis we can carry out for the particles which are greater than 75 micron, and sedimentation analysis we can carry out for the particle sizes which are smaller than 75 micron. So sedimentation analysis is also called as wet analysis. Sieve analysis is also called as dry analysis. Okay, so you can see if I want to find out particle size distribution, sieve analysis, that is dry process, is there, and sedimentation analysis, that is wet process, is there. In dry process, coarse grained sieve analysis I can perform, and fine grained sieve analysis I can perform. In wet analysis, hydrometer analysis and pipette method I can perform. So you can see this is coarse sieve analysis and fine sieve analysis. There are two steps in sieve analysis, that is dry analysis. Why it is? Because this particular sieve analysis is carried out when the particle size is greater than 75 micron. 75 micron, more than 75 micron. It might be range from 75 micron to 4.75 mm or else more than 4.75 mm. If it is more than 4.75 mm, if it is more than 4.75 mm, we are going to perform the coarse sieve analysis. If it is in between 75 micron to 4.75 mm we are going to perform fine sieve analysis. Okay, so uh, sieve analysis experiment also you are going to perform in the laboratory. It is a second or third experiment which is there in the laboratory. Anyway, I am just going to discuss briefly about the sieve analysis and further things in next session, but just go through the things which I have uh, taught today, because those things are very important as per the problems on this unit is concerned. So you can see I just briefly told you about the particle size distribution. So in depth about the particle size distribution we are going to discuss in next session, as well as we are going to discuss about the consistency of soil. That means density indices and Atterberg's limits means consistency of a soil. So we are going to discuss about this consistency of soil in next session. So in next session I am going to cover these 2 points, and after that in further classes, in second class I am going to discuss about IS classification system of a soil. So after discussing that we are going to end up with this particular unit also. So the same notes I am going to circulate on the Google Classroom, so you can go through it. So hardly in 1 or 2 sessions we are going to complete with the unit number 2 also. Thank you.